What's up, my beautiful family? It's High Energy Tuesday. Let's go. I hope everyone's having a blessed one and getting after it. Look, it's not lost on me that we're all dealing with something in life. We're all being challenged in ways that we didn't understand or didn't know that we could be challenged. Whether that's mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, we're going to go through things in life, but it's up to us to decide where we want to be on the opposite side of that battle. Where do we want to be when it's all said and done, when the dust is clear and everything has settled down? Like, what do we want our successful story to sound like, to look like, to feel like? What do we want to understand about triumph? I was reading about the country of Ethiopia, and what's fascinating to me is they were the only country within the continent of Africa that was not colonized in the 1800s. And that just threw me for a loop. And so I read more into it, and they fought with everything that they had in them, and they used everything around them that they could possibly use. There's even stories about how the Ethiopians would tame the bees to send the bees to attack their enemies. How the Ethiopians would tame the lions and ride the lions into battle, or use the lions to attack their enemies. But they used what was around them. And so as we're in the many situations that we're in, what's around you that you can find a new use for? Just because someone else wasn't able to tame the thing that they weren't able to tame, to use it, doesn't mean that you're not able to. You may be created differently. You may be created uniquely in order to use that very thing that's going to win the battle, that's going to make you stand out. So at the end of that battle, at the other side of that, you're standing successful. You're standing on top of the many things that people thought were impossible. And you said, well, you know what? It is possible. Who would have thought? And the lions that they rode, there were some DNA tests that were conducted on those lions, and those lions were bred differently. And there's so many amazing things that are just tied with that. But when I think about it, when I think about holistically what that means that God has put so many things around us. And sometimes it's within our reach, it's right in our touch, but sometimes fear keeps us from utilizing what God said we should be utilizing. Sometimes we're held back because someone else didn't understand, or they weren't successful with something. But it doesn't mean it's not for you. Because the Ethiopians, they took advantage of their environment and everything within their environment, and they found a way to utilize it. And so that when they went to war, when they went to battle, they knew that they had help all around them. They knew that they could create solutions and possible outcomes out of impossible solutions. I can remember so many times when I was in a fight for my life, where I was just struggling to move forward. I was just struggling to find some type of light, but I just knew if I could just grab on to something around me and use it in order to just pull myself a little bit, then I would see just a little bit more daylight. And what's incredible about seeing some daylight is, as you see a little bit, that hope is contagious, and then a fire begins to boil within inside of you, until you just have to get it out of you. And so in those moments where I wrestled and I battled with giving up, I also battled with the hopes and dreams on the other side of that. Sometimes it's fear that holds us back from using what we should be using in order to get to that other side of the pendulum. So where are you at when it comes to your hopes and dreams, and what fears are holding you back? Because I can tell you what, the Ethiopians, they weren't scared of the lions. The Ethiopians, they weren't scared of the bees. And they said, God put them around me. We're going to utilize them to change the atmosphere. We're going to utilize them in order to change the outcome of what everyone else thinks is already the outcome. We're going to write a different story to this ending. Everyone else had been colonized, but they said, no, that's not going to be our story. And so as you go through life, You have the ability to impact what your story should be. But I gotta tell you, it's gonna take everything in you. It's gonna take everything in you to make progress. It's gonna take everything in you to keep moving forward. You have to find the anchors. You have to find the things that are important to you. You have to grab onto it. You have to utilize the intangibles. And you have to utilize the tangibles. It can't be one or the other. It has to be both. So how are you doing that to pull yourself to find that little bit of daylight so you can keep moving? Somebody needs you. You need you. The world needs you. The next generation needs you. What are you going to do about it? Look, and I got to be honest with you. Nobody's just going to give it to you. If you're thinking that, hey, if I just do this or do that, someone's going to give me the opportunity, like, you're going to have to go out and you've got to go get it. You've got to go out and you've got to work at it. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want to see that great outcome on the other side? How bad do you want to see that dream come true? How much do you want it? Because if you want it, you're going to have to work like nobody has ever worked before. If you want it, you're going to have to drive like nobody else has ever driven before. If you want it, you're not going to be comparable to the people that are around you. You're going to stand out. You're going to be different because you're not built the same for the same dream. Everyone's not you. You're one in a million. Nobody is you. You're your own self, and you have to go and put in the work. And I'm talking from a place of experience. It ain't gonna be easy. Nobody's gonna just write the playbook for you. You just follow the playbook and then boom, success overnight. It's gonna take work. It's gonna take grind. And you have to stay consistent. And you have to apply grit. And then you have to put yourself in positions in order to attain more academic knowledge. You got to put yourself in positions to obtain knowledge that's not in an institution as well. That's equally as important. Mentors. Like, there's so many things that you have to do, but if you do them well, if you utilize the things that are around you and you apply yourself and you give it everything you have every single day, then eventually something's going to break. Eventually that moment is going to happen that you've been waiting for, but you got to do the work. Nobody's just going to hand it to you and say, hey, here you go. How bad do you want it? It's High Energy Tuesday. Let's go.